Hello and welcome back to Totally Music. So for today's review video, I'm going to be reviewing Ed Sheeran's newest album. Ed Sheeran is an English-based singer-songwriter who has sold more than 150 million records worldwide. He's just released his new album, the Tour Collection, which contains studio and live versions of some of his biggest songs to date. The album is titled Tour Collections and it was released on the 27th of December 2024. What I really do like about this album is how one disc contains the live version and then the other disc contains the studio versions. And I love how disc one, which is the live versions, really does capture the live aspect of the songs. Ed's really talented and I feel like this disc on the album really does capture how he builds up the guitar when he's playing it live. And for disc one, I really like the layout of the songs because you can almost follow the tour. I don't think they're in the order that the songs were performed on the tour, but I do really like how it's been set out, so it is almost as though you're watching a live gig and listening to it, as though you were at one of Ed's live shows. For disc two, which I've just mentioned, is the studio versions of the song. Although they're not the same songs that are on disc one, I do feel like it gives you an alternative input to the songs that are on that disc, and it sort of portrays them in a way that you've never heard them before. There's also an amazing 50 songs on this album, which totals up to 3 hours and 43 minutes of music, which is just incredible. So you can sit down, listen to the whole album, and I love how you can just play all the songs from start to finish and get the different aspects of the songs. I think that's such a lovely touch to this album. So moving on to my favourite songs from the album, and as I've just said, there's 50 songs on this album, so this was ridiculously hard to choose. So I have chosen 4 of the songs that stood out to me most, but Ed is such a talented singer-songwriter, it was really difficult to choose. So the 4 I've chosen are Castle on the Hill Live. As soon as this song kicks off on the album, I just love how the live aspect's been captured behind the song. It's so high energy and I love how a lot of the crowd noise has been kept into that song, so you do get that feeling of being there listening to it live. The second one is Shivers. This has always been one of my favourite Ed Sheeran songs. I love listening to it and I'm so glad that he's put this on the album. The third one is You Need Me, I Don't Need You. I just love how upbeat the song is and I love the lyrics in that song as well. And then the 4th song has to be Lego House. I just think it's such a beautiful song that explores the themes of love, longing and vulnerability, and I've always thought that's a beautiful song, so that had to go in my list of favourite songs. Now moving on to my favourite set of lyrics, and I do have them written down here in front of me so I don't mess them up, but I've chosen 2 sets from the album and they are Should This Be the Last Thing I See, I Want You to Know It's Enough for Me, Because All That You Are Is All That I'll Ever Need. And I just think they're so touching. It's from the song Tenerife Sea, which is on both discs, so you get to hear the live version and the studio version of the song, and it's just such a touching song that those lyrics had to go in there. And then for the second set of my favourite lyrics, it has to be the first part of the chorus of Lego House, and those lyrics are I'm out of touch, I'm out of love, I'll pick you up when you get me down, and out of all these things I've done, I think I love you better now. Again, I just think they're a really touching set of lyrics and they've always stood out to me in that song. So moving on to the artwork, and I'll put a picture of it on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about, but it's a black and white silhouette image of Ed stood on stage, and then you have each of the album symbols that are combined into this album. So for example, like plus, minus, divide, in the colours of the albums across the middle of the album, and I do think that really stands out. I feel like it still gives the albums each of their individuality but also brings them together nicely. And then you have the words Ed Sheeran and Tour Collection in white on either side of the colour, and I just think it's a really effective album that nicely brings all of his songs together into this one place. So for my overall thoughts on this album is that I really do love it. I enjoyed it from start to finish. And I love how on the live disc, how he's kept in his talking to the audience. So it again gives that feeling of being there live, watching Ed perform. Especially in the song Castle on the Hill, there's a lot of audience reaction and talking in that. And I just think that gives a really unique aspect to the song. And as I say, these are some of Ed's best songs all in one place. And I do really like that concept of the album, that you can just listen to 3 hours worth of music, all of Ed's best songs, and they're all in one place. You can just go hit play and listen to them from start to finish. It's almost like a concert on the go sort of feeling. I also think it's a really nice touch that the studio versions on disc 2 are not just a repeat of what's on disc 1. Some of them are the same songs, but I do feel like you get a really good mixture of Ed's music. And as I said, Ed is really talented, and I do love how we now have a version of his album that contains some of his best songs. If you've listened to the Tour Collection by Ed Sheeran, please let me know what you think of it in the comments below, because I would love to know. And if you'd like to discover some incredible artists, then please head on over to my website to go and check them out. And also, all the best for 2025. Thank you so much for all your support. It really does mean the world. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.